Just 4 races to go. Can't believe where the time's gone. Until the end of the 2019 season, round 18 takes us back to North America. We've got a couple of races now over in the Americas, 3 in a row before our season finale in Abu Dhabi. But round 18 takes us to Mexico City. The Mexico City Grand Prix, the first time it's been named that. Usually it's just the Mexican Grand Prix, but now the contract's been renewed, they've changed the name. I don't know why. I'm sure one of you in the comments will know. One of you will be smarter than me for sure. Most of you are probably smarter than me. But yes, round 18, Mexico City. And it looks like it's going to be a good one. The last couple of years, actually, Max Verstappen has been the race winner. And fun fact for you, out of all of the drivers on the grid, Max Verstappen has the most wins in Mexico. Yeah, bet you didn't know that one. Last time out. Bit of a different weekend. We had the Japanese Grand Prix, and the result on your screen should be coming up right now. It was a unique weekend with qualifying and the race on the same day. Yeah, we've not seen that for a very long time in Formula 1. And it was the porridge master himself, Valtteri Bottas, hadn't won a Grand Prix since all the way back in Azerbaijan, round 4. Yeah, between round 4 and round 17, didn't get a single victory, but he was back on top. A difficult weekend for Ferrari, despite getting 1-2 on the grid. Charles Leclerc had a scrappy race, to say the least, a brilliant comeback through the field. However, a contact with Max Verstappen on lap 1, and then failed to come into the pits after the FIA asked Ferrari to bring him in. He was smacked around the face multiple times with penalties after the Grand Prix. However, the big talking point, Renault, a double disqualifications only come to light over the last couple of days. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the newsroom. If you're new to the channel, or if you've never seen a preview before, we talk about last weekend. We have a look at the championship standings as they come up now. We talk about the track layout itself, and we have some predictions at the end. So if you are new, feel free to subscribe, but we'll talk a little bit more in detail about Renault a little bit later on. However, this is your updated championship standings. So because they were disqualified, that promoted Kvyat and Stroll into the top 10, and of course, the likes of Ricciardo and Hülkenberg got a big fat 0 points. So after that, Perez has now moved into P9. He's been on brilliant form of late and thoroughly deserves being in the top 10. He'll be expecting a really good result this weekend at his home Grand Prix. He is adored by the Mexican fans. Lando Norris moves into the top 10 despite not scoring points. Danny Kvyat moves into P11 ahead of the 2 Renault cars that are now down in 12th and 13th, but on joint points 34 apiece. Kvyat is also on 34, Norris is on 35. It is super close down there, and Lance Stroll moves ahead of Kevin Magnussen into P15. But the big story this weekend, that'll be dominating the headlines, that Crofty, Ben Edwards, whoever you're listening to in commentary, will be banging on about this all weekend, and rightly so. For the 3rd year in a row, Lewis Hamilton could potentially become Formula 1 World Champion for the 6th time here in Mexico. Of course, this is the first time he will have 6 championships, but the 3rd time in a row he could win it in Mexico. This is what he's got to do. If he wins and gets the fastest lap, and Bottas is 4th or lower, Hamilton wins. Well, pretty much. I mean, you can see on screen, if Hamilton wins but Bottas is 5th or lower, Hamilton wins. There are so many combinations he could do it, but the general gist is he has to finish 14 points ahead of Valtteri Bottas, which for me, as you can see, if Hamilton finishes 3rd, he's then got to get the fastest lap, and Bottas only has to score a couple of points, and he's in the bag. It looks like a circuit which is going to suit Ferrari and Red Bull a little bit more than the Mercedes, but that's what I've loved about this second half of the season. Each of the top 3 teams, all with their unique little quirks and factors in their cars, any of them going into each weekend could win the race. So it's anyone's game. But I think before we take some more statistics, and before we have our predictions, let's have a look at the circuit with a hot lap. As we start a lap for the Mexico City Grand Prix, we are on our way to the longest distance from the start line to turn 1. This is going to be a part of the circuit which on qualifying is going to make a whopping difference, and in race day this could really help Ferrari on lap 1, albeit if they don't jump the start. Turns 1, 2 and 3 really nice and quick. Quick right, left, back onto another DRS zone now. Lewis Hamilton, a couple of years back, made contact with Sebastian Vettel. Got a puncher here on his way to the title. Through the first of our stadium sections, look at this, a perfect view for the fans. But as we close off Sector 1 now, not many opportunities for overtakes at the end of Sector 1, and Sector 2, almost flat out high speed. On the first year return to Mexico City, Sebastian Vettel got this all wrong in qualifying and in the race. Again, difficult to overtake in this section, but a real awesome one to see on the TV, on the onboards and through qualifying. Now heading forward into Sector 3, one of the most iconic scenes in modern Formula 1, the mega stadium section, as we round out the lap through the final corner. Not a long lap in the Mexico City Grand Prix, only 4.3 kilometres. Valtteri Bottas with the lap record, 71 laps, and that is your lap of the Mexico City circuit. Continuing the bombardment of statistics for you ladies and gents, looking at the past 5 Grand Prix, one of them was back in 1992, and so for the first time this year, in our previous 5 winners, we have a Williams car. Yep, there you go, Nigel Mansell back in 1992. Then we had a little bit of a gap till 2015, Nico Rosberg taking the win on that particular year. But in 2016, when Rosberg won the championship, it was Lewis Hamilton that took his first and only win in Mexico. The past 2 years have been won by Max Verstappen. However, it was Daniel Ricciardo that was on pole position last year. And what was even stranger is all weekend Max seemed to be the one on the pace, and it looked like he would get his first ever pole position, but Ricciardo gave him a big smack, although in the race it was Verstappen who had the last laugh. Ricciardo, engine problems, yep, we've seen that many times last year, and it was Vettel and Raikkonen on the podium, Hamilton 4th and Bottas P5. Moving on into the newsroom, and as I said earlier, I was going to talk about Renault, because I imagine that's all anybody wants to hear. However, if you're new around here, here's a bit of news for you. I'm not very technical. That's my area I've struggled with and really tried to get better at over the course of 2019. And I think I have. I'm slowly getting there. And Stuart is doing a brilliant job of educating most of us, I think, in the world of Formula 1. And I believe he's doing a video about this. So I don't want to do a separate one because I know geniuses like him, like Sean, even Jonty, they know so much better than me. But double disqualification for using an illegal driver aid on brake bias. That is what I can tell you. So what that is that in layman's terms, which is the only terms I can understand, the car itself was doing the work where the driver should have been doing the work. Hope that all makes sense. Big factors, though, that go into this is that, first of all, Renault are not protesting it. They're holding their hands up and saying, yeah, that's fair enough, we got to accept the penalty. But what this could mean, and keep your eye out for this, they could be disqualified for the entire season. I don't think this will happen, but we have seen the FIA disqualify teams from the entire season before. Didn't affect the drivers' standings, but for the constructors it did. So keep an eye on this one. I don't think it's going away anytime soon. Also, since the Japanese Grand Prix, the announcement that the Miami Grand Prix could be finally starting to show up in 2021. There's been rumours, even before I started the channel, there were rumours for the Miami Grand Prix. Still not 100% confirmed. That's why I didn't do a video at the time. There's still a bit of wiggle room. The layout has been accepted. The dates have practically been accepted. The only issue now, the venue, everything's been green ticked. Big thumbs up. It just needs Formula 1 to sign it now and say, yep, we're happy to go there. It needs the FIA to say, yep, we're happy to do more than 22 races in 2021. The teams need to say they're happy. So there's still a few loopholes to go through. I think the circuit looks great. Some people think it's a bit of a Herman Tilke kind of track, not looking too brilliant. But the USA circuit's a Herman Tilke track. So I think, given the benefit of the doubt, I think actually this one could work quite well. And our final bit of news. Now, this is a real interesting one. Formula 1, the Mexican Grand Prix, will be streamed live on Twitch TV. There's a long list of countries, but I can tell you, the majority of people who watch this video, it won't be for you. So I know a lot of you are from the Netherlands. It's not there in the Netherlands. It's not in the UK, in the US, in Canada. It is in Germany. If you're German, you can watch the Mexican Grand Prix through Twitch TV. So if I remember, I will try my best. I really will. I will put it in the description right at the top so you can go and click on, and you might be able to watch the Grand Prix for free live over on Twitch. So I know some of you around the world never get to see this race, and there are some locations that I think will really benefit from this. I mean, it's a big step forward, and it's something I might do a separate video on. This is a huge investment from Twitch and Formula One doing this crossover partnership, and it's really nice to see that in the future we could see something like that happen elsewhere. So I just wanted to let you know about that. My predictions, my favourite bit of our preview, and just while we're here, actually, I probably should mention this weekend, because the Mexican Grand Prix and I suppose the US Grand Prix and the Brazilian Grand Prix, they're a little bit later on in the evening for us folk in the UK. So for you in the US, finally, you get a good time Grand Prix. For some of you over in Asia, yeah, I really feel your pain. I will be doing things a little bit different. So most of my things will be coming out a day later, if that makes sense. Like the preview usually comes out on a Thursday, it's coming out on a Friday. My predictions, they've been on screen already. Let's go with it. I've gone with a Red Bull 1-2 in quali with Sebastian Vettel P3, and in the race I've gone with a Max Verstappen win, Charles Leclerc P2, Alex Albon for his first podium in Formula 1 in P3. I think the pecking order will be Red Bull, the fastest car, then Ferrari, then Mercedes, and I think McLaren might be closer than people think. I think McLaren will be the clear best of the rest, may even finish on the lead lap. There's a bit of spiciness for you. But of course, for tomorrow's video, our practice report, let me know in the comments below your predictions, so you can follow this kind of skeleton that I usually put up, and I will put my favourites in tomorrow's video at the end, and we'll have a little discussion about it. That's been your preview for the 2019 Mexican Grand Prix. Taco time indeed. But what I will say is I'm looking forward to this one. A championship challenge is on its way, a circuit that usually provides some pretty strong racing, and usually when I say this, I jinx it, but I'm gonna. It looks like it's gonna be a wet race. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it, but we can hope. Hope for a bit of drama, hope for a bit of spice, a bit of pizzazz. Yeah, that would be brilliant. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you've made it this far and you are new. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.